Sure.
Into the feature match area, there's Kenji Tsumua as we zoom in from the overhead. Kenji Tsumua on the left,
Yep.
John Finkel on the right, both Pro Tour Hall of Famers. John Finkel has mulliganed to 6, we'll let you know. And Kenji has dropped a first turn island.
So Kenji Tsumura is playing basically just a blue-red green deck without Delver, so like just like a rug deck. He described it to me as a combo deck, and he pointed me to his 1 Consecrated Sphinx and his 2 Vendilion Clicks, and he's like, I make them draw from the Vendilion Click with my Consecrated Sphinx in play. See, it's a combo deck. John Finkel, on the other hand, is playing a combo deck. He's playing, Pyromancer Ascension, Craziness, Grape Shot, Storm deck. This is a deck he's loved, and we actually see the addition of an actual Return to Ravnica card in this deck. It's not a deck that seems like it gets a lot out of Return to Ravnica. Mm-hmm. I've been hoping for Epic Experiment, but I guess I've been shut down in that regard. But we get Goblin Electromancer.
Very nice.
Does some interesting things with the, what we call rituals.
Yes.
So the Seething Songs and the Metamorphoses.
And Pyromantic Ritual. Yeah. So both players have played Serum Visions on turn 1.
Ban it! Oh, sorry.
Easy there, Sparky. That card ain't even old-timey. All right, Finkel goes to his turn 2. I mean, Kenji... I don't know how much intel these guys have on each other. Sleight of hand. Very techy Portal 1. Reveals 2 Gitaxian probes for John Finkel. I mean, these 1 mana sort through your libraries.
Ban them.
They're getting you to
Serum Visions.
Playing more of your deck. I mean, this is a modern deck that plays like a legacy deck because you see a lot of cards out of your deck.
Yeah.
Another Serum Visions for John.
John is basically close to 10 cards deep at this point, right?
And he's sculpting a hand in a combo deck. You need to, especially when you're playing against somebody who you assume has permission.
Bolt you.
Don't waste any time.
Yeah.
Finkel's gonna need to pick his spots. Misty Rainforest there for Kenji Tsumura. Just pass the turn. He's gonna wait. So we see John draw another sleight of hand.
If there was ever a card made for John Finkel, it's Gitaxian Probe. Get free information, pay 2 life, draw a card.
Oh, pay 2. Probe you.
All the life isn't relevant except the last one, right?
Yep.
Right. He's going to probe Kenji. He's going to look and see what he's got. We see Snapcaster Mage. I don't think that Vidalcan Shackles is going to do too much in this game.
Spell Snare and Repeal.
And Lightning Bolt probably also just get pointed at John's head. So probably when we start talking about in Game 2 about Kenji's sideboarding plan, there are a couple cards here that are probably going to come out.
Draw.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, John's got the information he wants. So see him draw Metamorphose. And going into the tank. One of those things you don't really want to see John Finkel doing when you're sitting across the table from him
Goblin Electromancer?
Is being in deep thought.
Yeah, Goblin Electromancer.
There's the Goblin Electromancer.
And for all of that digging and filtering, John does not have a 3rd land.
As Brian mentioned, Goblin Electromancer, a card from Return to Ravnica. Your instants and sorceries cost one colorless less to cast. Kenji says it's good. Gives the thumbs up. And at end of turn, he is going to crack the Misty Rainforest, go get a land, And one would assume bolt the Electromancer.
And Kenji's gone down a road of, burn you. But I mean, it's like bolting the bird here, right? He knows John's stuck on land, so he starts being able to do stuff next turn. He gets to pay 2 to get 5 mana if he has Seething Song.
Finkel's already down to 10 after a lot of Phyrexian mana life. Kenji offers.
Yeah, he also has the Shivan Reef, which did a little damage to him.
Yep.
Snapcaster, bolt it. Get you to 8.
So he's not showing. He's actually not showing the bolt in his hand.
8.
Snapcaster comes across. Kenji says go.
Oh, this is exciting.
So we're getting a report from the back table from Rashad Miller.
This is exactly why Nico Boni is in the feature match area this round.
Brian David Marshall was giddy about this deck, so I'm going to let him describe it.
Manamorphose?
You see Finkel with the Manamorphose.
Sure.
Nico Boni,
Which Kenji spell shapes. There.
Right.
Faithful Fleetings, puts Gristlebrand in the graveyard, casts Goryo's Vengeance.
Brings
Goryo's
back.
Vengeance is the Gristlebrand
3.
into play, attacks, draws presumably 21 cards
Yep.
or so,
Yeah.
takes Fury of the Horde, pitches it, and pitches 2 red cards to untap Gristlebrand, attack. With the card draw from Gristlebrand on the stack, Noxious Revival, Fury of the Horde on top of the library, draw Fury of the Horde again, pitch 2 more red cards, untap Gristlebrand, kill you.
Very nice. So we saw.
Speaking of kill you.
Speaking of kill you, Kenji Tsumua flashes in another Snapcaster Mage for another bolt to John Finkel's head, then swings across with the 4 damage from the Snapcaster Mages. So Kenji Tsumua up 1 game on John Finkel. So. And obviously, Nico Boni is up 1 game against Mario Avila Gutierrez. We'd like to thank Card House Games for being an official card retailer here at Pro Tour Return to Ravnica. For all things Magic, Card House Games is one of the premier destinations on the internet. For more information, visit Cardhouse, that's CARDHAUS.com.
So you saw, Snapcaster Mage usually like returning counter spells, maybe, returning some card draw. But now, there we just saw Kenji just getting double use out of his bolts. So just like burning John out, getting in for 2 damage. Just obviously a centerpiece of the modern format.
There he is. Now, Snapcaster Mage, there's a lot of Snapcaster Mage, especially in this format, into counter spells and things like that. Snapcaster into Bolt is my kind of play.
It's very is it.
It is.
It's very is it. So this was Tiago Chan's invitational card in 2007. He won it in 2007. It came out during Innistrad block. This was a big part. If you watched any standard last year, if you Delver, sure Delver was Delver, but like Snapcaster Mage was just this source of card advantage, and this was perfectly capable of carrying a sword that you wouldn't see it coming. It was a surprise attacker, surprise blocker, just phenomenal. One of the reasons people are playing Deathrite Shaman this weekend, they talked about the ability to, mess with Snapcaster Mage's game plan.
Sure.
So.
All right.
So,
really, really aggressively costed at a blue and 1.
Yeah.
Would you still play it at a blue and 2?
I don't. I don't know if it would be as dominant as ability.
Well,
like,
certainly
that
it
ability,
wouldn't be as dominant.
That ability, but I'm saying, but even as probably, I mean, yeah, I'd probably play it, right? But like that ability to like go get a ponder back on turn 3 and dig for your 4th land. It's just it's in such a sweet place.
Yeah,
in every format.
So what do you think we're going to see from the sideboard from Kenji Tsumua? I mean, he's got a lot of cards that he's may not want.
I mean, Kenji's just looking for any reason to bring in Teferi.
Right.
I was like, what are you bringing in against? He's like, well, just Teferi.
It is good. Actually, I
possibly his Jace.
Yeah.
His Jace Bellerin, card he's gonna like. Certainly his negate. He doesn't have a ton of sideboard
Good
stuff.
sideboard
Although
choices.
the Relic of Progenitus can be
Sure.
can be pretty sweet if you can get it out ahead of the Pyromancer's Ascension. Although he doesn't necessarily know that that's what John's playing. Right? He could think John's playing it in the Storm deck.
Well, we'll see how each of them sideboarded. John, anything interesting out of his?
I would not be surprised to see John maybe bring in his Empty the Warrens and just go for a quick goblin
play
kill.
first.
Make some mana.
Yeah.
Okay,
Make
yeah.
some mana, make 10 guys.
Okay. Imagine that.
Sure.
Oh, that's okay. That's not a from this angle. That extra grape shot looked like it's a pyroblast. How's he playing pyroblast?
He is not.
And it looks like he is once again shipping to 6. We talked last round about the Jund deck being kind of mulligan resilient. Combo decks tend to not be.
To be fair, with the amount of
Great,
deck manipulation
right.
he has. I mean, obviously he needs a critical mass of spells in his hand for his deck to do anything. But you can build your way back really quick.
And from one of the back tables, we hear that Matt Sperling has taken game 1 from Daniel Gardner. He leads 1-0. Yeah, I think I told you the story last weekend when we were at GP San Jose about the biggest, baddest Teferi ever in a recent Commander game. The guy's just good. Okay, there's John 6. 1-2 lands.
Oh, and there it is.
And there it is. Empty the Warrens. John Finkel, he's looking at his 6. He's got to decide whether this not strong 6 is better than any 5 he might get to. He's going to keep it.
Desperate Ravings in there so he can sort of start to sift through his cards.
All right.
Kenji, everything good sport, sorts his cards out, so it's easy for John to take a look at them. Then
So-
you're going to look at Empty the Warrens.
3 fetch lands for John. For Kenji, Serum Visions, Lightning
draw a
Bolt,
card?
Yep.
Mana Leak, and Tarmogoyf. Certainly a modern all-star. And then he'll drop his first
Go.
land, which is Scalding Tarn.
Take one.
Not shockingly, Steam Fence.
Steam Vents, what do they say?
I said not shockingly.
Yeah, right.
Put it tapped.
Tapped. Yes. You almost sounded like Rich Hagon right there.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, Kenji gonna Serum Visions. Let's see what he's got. Is that a Spell Pierce?
It looked like a Spell Snare,
Spell Snare.
which is a fine card against the Pyromancer Ascension deck when your eponymous card is,
Yeah.
costs 2.
Is in the wheelhouse, as it were. So how fast can this deck reasonably go off? On what turn is there a reasonable?
Turn 3, turn 4. I think turn 4 is reasonable.
Go ahead.
John just dropping an island, passing the turn.
Yeah,
With the Electromancer, Rashad says, yeah, turn
you
3
now
probably.
get a turn.
Okay, Faithless Looting.
Kenji shrugs.
Yeah, it's like,
All right.
loot away.
1 through 6. 5. Okay.
So once again, John in the tank a little bit. Knowing which lands to play when.
Go ahead. Yeah.
18.
Kenji goes to 18, correcting the special land, announcing very clearly, you know, in addition to being a Hall of Fame player, Kenji's also sort of a Hall of Fame sportsman.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's one of the quotes we used at the end of the Kenji thing is from you, talking about that, I think it was Grand Prix Montreal, where he was distraught. I ran into him after the Grand Prix on the way to the Pro Tour, and he was distraught. I'm like, what's wrong? It's like there was, I could only stop, I don't remember the number now, but 3 of my 5 opponents who forgot to pay for a pack from not paying for it.
Not paying for them. Yeah, he's a great example of the kind of player that you absolutely love to have around the game.
Someone not necessarily interested in the free wins.
Right. All right, Kenji drops his third land and now goes into his thought process. He's got to be thinking about, when you're playing against the combo deck, you got to be thinking about,
Can I tap out here?
really have to manage your mana and turns very, very carefully.
Well, he's trying to figure out if he can play a Tarmogoyf and if his spell snare will be good enough to keep John off a turn.
Well,
And ultimately, that's what he's deciding.
okay, John cracks his fetch,
How many cards do you have?
asks how many card Kenji has, and there are 6 in his hand. Tarmogoyf is 3-4 right now. We've got an instant, a sorcery, and a land.
So John cast his sort of Desperate Ravens at the end of the turn here, flashing it back.
Do you have like a 10-sided die or any? I need a die with more than 6 sides.
Belgium's
Yeah,
Jeffrey Saran has hard cast an Emrakul, and not surprisingly, taken game 1 from Christian Calcano.
So Doran was not able to
Right.
get in the way, and his hair turned white. And he,
All right, John Finkel asking for a
more than 6-sided
more than
die.
6-sided dice.
Sure.
A
1
D
through 7,
greater than 6.
8, 9, 10 reroll. 2.
Okay, so Death Ravings
Which,
costs him one of his
what ritual is that? Pyretic?
Pyretic.
Can you just leave it here?
He's got one if we
Okay.
this belongs to him.
No,
Sure.
that's the other
Can
one.
you just leave it on the table? I'm going to need a lot. Can I just get that die? Judge, can I just get like a die here?
Yeah. we're
If
good.
he is the
This
one, okay.
belongs
Oh,
to
he's
him.
no. Yeah, I thought he said he had
Oh,
one.
yeah, it is.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's fine. All right, draw.
Okay, he asked me to leave the die.
Take the
We
cannoli.
we can do that again. So if you're Kenji and you've got the Spell Pierce in your hand,
Spell snare.
Spell Snare in your
So
hand,
he can hit it too, which means he can, so he can, like a Metamorphose, which should just be a free card.
Mm-hmm.
If he can hit the Metamorphose, he can leave John without enough mana to sort of continue along the way.
right?
Manamorphose.
Speaking of which,
Play Metamorphose first.
Okay. Blue,
Kenji says
red.
cool. John takes blue, red. Well, we'll keep score along with you at home as to kind of colors of mana John Finkel has in the pool.
Heretic ritual.
Let's go draw a Spell snare.
So Kenji cracks the fetch. Seems pretty clear signal. But that's what he's going to spell snare. See, John does have another Metamorphose in his hand.
Sure. Desperate Ritual.
Next is the
Seething
Desperate
Song.
Into
Empty the
Seething Song.
Warrens for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 12 goblins.
Empty the Warrens for 12 goblins.
And that's why John needed the die, not because he was going to reroll
He just,
a desperate. He's like, I just know I'm going to resolve this
Good.
spell.
empty the Warrens out of Time Spiral, and it's common.
Oh, I love drafting that deck in Time Spiral.
So,
Sure. Thank you.
Kenji facing
Thanks for die as well.
Kenji facing down 12 1/1
The
goblin.
proverbial red army.
Not to be outdone in the sportsmanship category, John Finkel thanks the judge for getting him some tokens. Thanks him also for the die. And Kenji,
There's a little bit more of a hard edge to John's sportsmanship. I feel like something might be lurking under the surface there.
Kenji's turning that Tarmogoyf sideways.
What's he gonna do?
And we'll note that it doesn't have 3 counters on it. Kenji's just marking that it's a 3/4.
No block.
3.
All right, I go to 14.
Takes John to 14. What's the
Kenji's might be planning on just
cryptic
the
command?
cryptic command turns.
Isn't
He,
there a
wants, he really wants the Serum Visions.
Isn't there a return to an original Ravnica block card that bounces a creature and all creatures with the same name?
Sure. Yes. Echoing Truth.
Echoing Truth.
Okay.
It does indeed Serum Visions. Well, he's at 17, so 12
Yeah.
goblins isn't going to kill him this turn.
But he doesn't know that John doesn't have any kind of remand or something for next turn. He doesn't. But he.
As Kenji gets into the tank a little bit here on his turn, we will tell you that Matt Sperling has taken down his match with Daniel Gardner 2-0. So Sperling moves on. Kenji just passes the turn. See Finkel with 2 lands, Serum Visions in his hand. That was cast the first one. Play a land.
Serum Visions.
We didn't quite see the 2 that he pulled up the top. He shipped 1 to the bottom, kept 1 on.
Claire,
Our daggers.
back for 12.
5.
Kenji goes to 5. Another Serum Visions.
Serum Visions.
For John Finkel. Got a probe.
Yeah.
So does John have to start thinking about?
He's thinking about Grape Shot right here, right? Honestly, he can Grape Shot.
Pay 2 life, I'll get Axiom Probe.
Right?
Yeah, visions, probe.
Same.
Yep.
Visions, probe. Grape shot. Oh my. Mana leak. Cryptic Command.
Let's see.
Cryptic Command.
Cecil. Bolt.
Lightning
Leak.
Bolt.
Cryptic X2. Appeal.
And Repeal.
Okay, I draw a card.
It's cool. So he draws the one he put on top. He plays the ritual and just. Well,
Yeah,
now
he
he knows.
the
He knows.
magic is there.
Yeah, he knows the mana link's there. Which is one of the big points of the Gitaxian probe. I mean, if you're playing a combo deck, you want to know what's in the other guy's hand, especially when you play blue.
Grape shot you for 4.
It sounds like they're going to go to Game 3 in the Nico Boni Gutierrez match.
Yeah, we
Sure,
can.
you take
we,
3.
2.
Go ahead.
Well,
Right. So gets a cracks a fetch.
His grape shot not resolved yet.
No, it was count.
Copy
Yeah.
still. Storm copy still.
Oh, yeah.
Resolved.
I
he
guess
went
we,
to
I guess we don't have
9.
the
So he went to 2 and then he went to 1.
right. So we don't have the correct life total up there.
Declare attack.
top and door.
Tap and draw.
Okay.
Best 2 modes of Cryptic Command.
Desperate Ritual.
Sure,
Past in
says
Flames.
Kenji.
Yep.
Going to game 2.
That was exciting.
All right, so a little life, some goblins, some damage to your face.
Yeah.
For John Finkel, and we're gonna go to game 3. Kenji Tsumua, John Finkel tied at 1-1.
So now you were talking about how do people sideboard in regard to each other. I mean, John's got to assume that a red-blue deck is got a little bit of room for a Pyroclasm in the sideboard. He may just take out
The empty warrants.
the Empty the Warrants combo. Now Kenji kind of has to think about diluting his deck to have an answer to that. He can sort of give him null targets
draws,
essentially for the null draws on those sideboard cards.
Much to the chagrin of Brian David Marshall, we may not get to see any of the Nico Boni Mario Avila Gutierrez match on the back table.
Oh man, you mean we have to stay on this stupid Kenji Tsumura
John
Finkel match? It's terrible.
We get to watch 2 Hall of Famers battle.
2 players who have been individually regarded as the greatest players of their age.
Right. Qualifiers for the next Pro Tour have begun. You could be on the big stage for Pro Tour Gatecrash, taking place February 15th through 17th in Montreal, Quebec.
And you win that PTQ, you're going to get airfare. You get flown there. You get to
But
play with the big boys.
you will not get a coat, which you may want to bring into Montreal in February. For more information, visit wizards.com/PTQ.
Yeah, I wrote an article today actually about talking about different ways people get to the Pro Tour. I played at the Team Grand Prix with some friends. And, they hadn't really played in tournament before. They'd really never been playing Magic for a while, but hadn't really gone that tournament route. We're driving back and it's like 2 in the morning and we're kind of like burger full,
Right.
road hypnotized, and it's quiet. No one's saying anything, and we're just driving. The road's humming along, and all of a sudden you hear, "So how do I qualify for the Pro Tour?" They'd gotten the
got
hook,
the bug.
The hook was firmly planted. So PTQs, that's the best way.
You can amass Planeswalker points, but you have to do relatively well. So one of the cards that's one of the combo cards in John Finkel's deck is the Grape Shot. Brian, you want to break it down a little bit?
I mean, sure. I mean, Grape Shot's a Storm card, and Storm is the central mechanic around when people talk about Storm decks. So the idea is that you want to, cast a number of spells on one turn, and then for when you play a Storm spell, you get to copy it for each spell played before it this turn, and then you get to choose new targets. So, if you had a number of, let's say, Goblin tokens, and you stormed up a Grape Shot, you could sort of Grape Shot a bunch of them. You could, Grape Shot and kill a Tarmogoyf if you can get it to 5, or you could kill your opponent. A lot of times you'll see these decks like, ad nauseum combo decks, or, the Past in Flames deck, which is capable of spending all these, playing all these cards, then Past in Flames and cards back from their graveyard, really able to do 20 damage in one turn with a Grape Shot. Patrick Chapin inducted into the Hall of Fame today, 2007 at Worlds in New York. He and Gabriel Nassif played in the top 4. Grape Shot was a central card in both their decks.
Yep.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. Reuse of the Storm mechanic is one of the most controversial R&D decisions of the modern era. I love Storm.
Storm rewards you for playing spells.
Yes, it's
Play
fun.
spells. Play
It's
more
fun.
spells. Play more spells. Okay, there we see the two competitors back again. Once again, Kenji Tsumura on the left. John Finkel on the right. Rules manager Matt Tabak just sliding out of the shot there. See him holding the clipboard, mostly because he's a little too tall to fit into the frame.
Yeah, they both keep.
They both keep, and Relic of Progenitus right off the bat for Kenji Tsumura. That may slow down John's
Pyromancer's Ascension.
ascensions, which we haven't seen him play yet.
Yep. But I think at this point, Kenji's, figured it out. There you see Past in Flames. Each instant sorcery in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn, and the flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. So, a fine card in there is Relic of Progenitus. Target player removes a card in his or her graveyard from the game, so the player that you target chooses the card. You don't get to actually pinpoint certain cards out, but you can pay 1, remove Relic from the game, and then you remove all graveyards from the game, draw a card. A fine
card.
piece of equipment to work with.
Yes. Yeah, I came on the. We saw Scrabbling Claws out of Mirrodin that did the same thing as the first ability, and then the second ability was to target something to bring it up.
Did John bring in Shatterstorm? Did he bring in?
Pay 2.
He's going to probe Kenji right here. Let's see what Kenji has. Kenji thinking about mana leaking that, maybe? No.
Yep. Shows him a negate, also a sideboard card. Ah, there's the fairy.
There's the fairy. Another relic and a Snapcaster Mage to go with his third land. John making some quick notes.
Okay.
Says, okay, you can pick him
Draw
up
a
there,
card.
Kenji. We'll draw the card off the probe before he drops his next land. Shivan Reef? I don't see a lot of Shivan Reef get played.
Yeah.
The budget dual land, as they were.
The budget lands are the guild gates. Thinking about a strategy, trying to figure out how he can make maybe his Ascension fight through a Relic of Progenitus.
Kenji's going to certainly activate it in a turn to just tell John to remove one.
Good.
Here's the Tarn.
Yep.
The Steam Vents. Okay, Kenji going to crack his Misty Rainforest. Christian Calcano has tied up his match with Jeffrey Saran. Guess he didn't have to stare down an Emrakul this time. We also hear that there are 2, not 1, but 2 Grafdigger's cages out in the Nico Boni match, so we might be fortunate that we didn't watch that.
Sure.
Kenji draws and picks up Serum Visions.
Sure.
John says, no, I'm not going to counter your Serum Visions. Go ahead. Kenji takes a look at them, hides them from us. Ships one to the bottom, other one to the top. Stomping ground. Tells John to remove one, says go. Now, some of the folks watching at home might be thinking, hey, Relica Progenitus and Tarmogoyf? That's a non-bow.
Kind of.
Go ahead.
He may have sided those out.
John drops land, says go. Kenji doing some end of turn thinkifying. Quick look at
Yep.
John Finkel's hand. So, Kenji going to go on the Snapcaster Mage beatdown plan. We saw Owen Turtenwald go to a GP.
I
in
like to call it
Baltimore.
the Ambush Viper plan.
He flashes it in at the turn, battles with it, and then just says go. Finkel drops down to 15. There's the Shivan Reef from John Finkel.
Go ahead.
And passes the turn.
Yep.
Kenji asks permission to draw. John says go ahead.
13.
Snapcaster Mage gets in.
They haven't seen the Joe's list. He doesn't know that John doesn't have Vendillion click. Doesn't know what kind of package he's bringing in from the side.
Serum
No,
Visions.
Tarmogoyfs did not leave the deck.
Well, I mean, Kenji's own graveyard. If Kenji's not going to
Well,
use
right, if he's not, but generally you're going to need to use the
big one.
The big one.
So are you 2 on bottom?
Yes.
Okay.
Put them both on the bottom. Plays an island. Says go. There's another ritual. I think that makes 3 rituals in John's hand, so he can certainly start to think about
I wonder if he brought in.
chaining together all those rituals and making a pile of mana.
Yeah.
Pyromancer's Ascension.
There's the Ascension.
I remember that well from the standard era. Get to 5 mana to play your Pyromancer's Ascension. Get around that mana leak.
Kenji giving it some thought.
Goblin Electromancer.
He's going to try to get through Goblin and Electromancer. Now this is going to basically net him mana when he plays those spells. I mean, a lot of spells are designed so that you can't get more mana out of them than their cost. But if the cost that you have to pay to cast it is less, then you can start adding the mana up. And it looks just like what John's doing right here. There's the spell snare.
Okay.
Interesting that
Yep.
Kenji chose to not use that on the Pyromancer's Ascension.
I mean, he's not terribly worried about the Pyromancer's Ascension right now.
Because of
he's
the
got
relic.
it right. He's got it on
11.
lockdown. He can play a second. Well, I don't know if he wants to play a second. But he can generally worry about Shatter Spray or something like that.
Battles with the Snapcaster, dropping John Finkel to 11. passes the turn. This isn't the blistering Jund on Jund
No.
matchup that we saw before, but this is deep Magic.
Yep. Sure. 9.
Yeah, it sounds like Nico Boni could not deal with the graveyard hate from Gutierrez.
Digger's Cage makes living out of your graveyard
Yeah.
a little more difficult. All right, so Kenji, 4 mana up. He's content. Just attack for 2 at a time with the Snapcaster Mage and work on countering which of John's spells he really needs to.
Draw.
Storm, not something that a lot of folks were looking at to be a factor this weekend.
It's certainly on people's radar, but I don't think it's not a deck that's posted amazing results thus far. John's thinking about casting Desperate.
Manamorphose.
Nope.
Manamorphose.
How many cards do you have left?
5.
Spell snares it with 5 cards left. Question that John asks. Remember, John needs to get 2 quest counters on the Ascension before it's worth anything.
Yep.
Once it does, whenever you cast an instant or a sorcery, you can copy the spell. And if it has targets, you can choose new targets.
Yep.
A copy to empty the Warrens or a copy to Grape Shot is generally pretty good.
All right. 6.
All right, Kenji swings in, drops John Finkel down to 6.
The copies don't have Storm. Do you have Storm?
The copies...
If I, with Pyromancer's Ascension, make a copy of...
Storms when you cast it.
Right, but when I...
In response?
When I cast...
Desperate Ravings from John Finkel. What's he desperately raving for here?
Well, he wants to, I guess, put some cards in his yard so that...
1,
he
5.
forces Kenji to blow the relic.
Of course, John doesn't know that Kenji has another relic in his
I think he
hand.
does know that.
Oh, that's right, he
I think
probed it.
it.
Yeah, he did. Kenji activates the relic. Yeah, it'd be interesting to be able to sort of map the player's brains to see the decision trees that are going on. Okay, if I cast the Desperate Ritual. Still thinking here.
End of turn, flashback.
It's going to flashback to Desperate Ravens at the end of Kenji's turn.
One through 6. 5.
Another ritual goes to the yard. Kenji asks him to wait for a second. He's going to think about something. There's a light. Is that a lightning bolt in Kenji's hand?
Yep.
Okay.
Of course, if he had two of them. And you know, that certainly could be a thought. Crack the relic,
Sure.
draws into another lightning bolt. It's bolt game.
Draw.
What happens now?
Well, one of the things Kenji probably wanted to keep John off of was getting those quest counters onto Pyromancer's Ascension,
Goblin Electromancer.
because you have to cast something that has an instant or sorcery with the same name as something.
Heretic Ritual.
There's Paretic Ritual after the Goblin Electromancer. Kenji says, okay. John says, take 3 minutes. Stony Silence has led Christian Calcano to win his match
Heretic Ritual.
with Jeffrey Ciron 2 games to 1.
So Pyretic Ritual gets us a counter. Our first counter on Pyromancer's Ascension.
Okay.
Kenji says, go. That's fine.
John might be. I think John can get the second counter on here with Past in Flames.
We see the Empty the Warrens in his hand. I mean, if Empty the Warrens is the answer for John right now, certainly we'll see end of turn Bolt You from Kenji.
Yeah, we're seeing that almost no matter what. John has what, 5 men in this bowl?
Yes. Doing some more math.
Powerless. Past in Flames. I have 3 red left.
Past in Flames with 3 red left.
No mana.
3 red.
See that?
Kenji confirming the 3 red in John Finkel's hand, in John Finkel's mana pool. Sorry. And Kenji doing a quick count to verify that that's the case. Something I would suggest that all players do at all levels when somebody's playing a deck like this. Don't necessarily think that there are so many shady folks in the world, but math mistakes happen, especially in complicated board states. So Kenji deep into it right now. He's wondering where he can stop the chain. And the thing about Storm is, again, countering the Storm spell isn't necessarily all that valuable.
Just counters
because
1 copy.
It only gets the 1 copy.
Past in Flames resolves.
3 spells. Resolves. Yeah, 2 counters.
So Pyromancer's Ascension is
I
now.
have 5 red, 4 spells.
5 red and 4 spells here, John.
Yeah.
Doing the Storm count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, sorry, 5, right? 1.
Right, well, that's right,
2,
Kenji.
3, 4, 5,
there's
5, 6,
there's a perfect example. Kenji Tsumua again.
5 red.
The Hall of Fame of Sportsman says, "No, John, you're wrong. You've cast 1 more than you think."
Flashback that again.
Use a red, cast Ritual. 6 spells, fork it.
Copy it with Pyromancer's Ascension.
Sure, I have 10 red.
Pyromancer Ascension. 10 red for John.
Flashback the.
Cast Empty the Warrens and get another one. So it's 8.
So
Leaves
there's
me
the
with
Empty the Warrens.
7 red.
And then do it again.
And then do it again from
All right, I have
the Ascension.
16 goblins. What life are you at?
17.
16 goblins. Kenji at 17 life.
Flashback. Fast and Flames. Leaves me with, it costs 4, so I have 2 red left.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I had 7. Sorry, I have 3 red left. That's right, I have 3 left.
So you see John and Kenji verifying the count.
Empty for,
And John's
20.
gonna flashback empty the Warrens.
so I have 36 goblins.
36 goblins.
Go ahead.
for
Kill me.
Finkel.
He's like, I got nothing left.
So
Kill me.
Clearly, EOT bolt you.
I'm at 3.
All right. Rip it, Kenji. What do you got?
Yeah.
There it is.
Any card draw. He's going to cycle a Relic of Progenitus.
He's got to negate. He's got to.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I mean, he's got 30. I mean, he's just dead to an attack.
Right, because he doesn't have the. He doesn't have.
Well, I guess he gets a turn. He buys a turn with Cryptic Command. Does this. He hasn't
Not
played
if
a
he-
land this turn. What?
Yeah, not if he pays the mana to crack the relic.
Right.
There it is.
Wow,
That's
wow.
Scoops.
But Kenji could have bought himself another turn there. If he had a land in hand, he could have played a 5th land. And
But he doesn't. He didn't have cryptic command.
oh, he didn't have Cryptic
No.
Command? Oh, I thought he did.
No.
Well,
No,
then-
that's the play.
That's the misplay. Not having Cryptic Command.
So,
I thought I looked
John
into something.
Finkel
4-0.
takes down Kenji Tsumua in this battle of titans of Magic, Hall of Famers both in the 3-0 bracket. John Finkel moves to 4-0, Kenji to 3-1.
So Kenji Samora's
Yeah.
first Pro Tour is Chicago 2003.
In game 1,
Yeah.
you resolve the
And
sleight of hand.
He
And
was
you brought it really
watching
close to your hand. I'm
Kai
gonna caution
and
you to
John
make sure
Finkel,
that you don't
Okay.
those
en
together.
route
I
to
mean, I
top
was sitting
8 that
watching,
event.
so I know you didn't do anything.
All right, there we are back in the booth. I'm Sheldon Menery alongside Brian David Marshall. Once again, you can follow us both on Twitter. I'm at Sheldon Menery. He's at Top 8 Games. And anything you want to say to us during the course of the broadcast, keep it clean, please.
You don't have to keep it that
Yeah,
clean.
you don't
I
have to
don't
keep
mind.
that clean. Yeah, we're both big boys. We've
Yeah.
been around the block.
I've seen worse.
Yeah. Or as I like to say sometimes, I might have been born yesterday, but I stayed up all night. All right, so you were saying Kenji
Yeah,
2003.
Kenji in 2003, he knocks out of the Pro Tour early. And, he's just spent the rest of the day watching the likes of John Finkel and
Yeah.
Kai Buddha and just going, oh, okay, that's how you do it. So,
Well,
sort of apprenticing.
He seemed to learn relatively well.
Yeah, and that's what he's done his whole career is find players better than him in whatever discipline he's looking to improve on and watch them.
Well, right. I think in anything, especially in intellectual pursuits like good games, you go down, learn from people that are better than you. That's why you go to your PTQs, you play. You go to your you go to your GPs and play. You go all through and you play and you learn from the guys that are better than you and build on the lessons that they've learned.
Yeah, I got a bunch of dirty Twitters coming in that I got to check on. So
Okay, so we are done with round 4 here at Pro Tour Return to Ravnica. Let's take it back to the news desk.